Hello, my name is Chris Cruz, and today's topic is about relationships. So, reflecting on this, we have to start with why do we start them? Who do we choose? Why do we choose them? And why do we keep them? And what's the typical life cycle for them as well? Because it's a very mixture cycle, and obviously, how can they be broken and can if they can be fixed? So let's start with why we go into relationships. The reasoning why we go into relationships, I think, is because when it comes to people, from what I've seen and from my experience, you try to build a relationship with somebody when you really feel you're most vulnerable and you want to belong and have a sense of comfort and companionship. And there's a theory that, when you're attached to somebody who you really feel like is your person, you feel safe and you feel really warm with them. And sometimes some people go into relationships for the negative things. They go and then for expecting a reward out of them, in terms of handouts, and just overall spoiledness. They don't want to really. They're not really there for the actual beauty of it. They kind of just want to go in there for the support. And like I said, love and support can outweigh each other. Um, so that's another reason why I think people start relationships. Um, Another similar thing I could say is that we kind of go into relationships in terms of what we value in somebody and what we see in them and how they can really attract to us, and if we really want to put our time into their bank and really have a sense of attention, and whether that's physical or emotional, what how can we play a role in terms of building a relationship with that person. And it's all having that mindset is what really shapes and builds either a poor or a healthy relationship. So, and the reason why we try to maintain them as much as we can, if you really think you found your person, you want to invest as much time and as much money as you can with that person, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who's going to be there with you, at the end of the day. Having a partner with you who you can communicate, share your bad days with, and overall just have a shoulder to lean on. It really, for us humans, that brings a sense of of stress and relief off our chest, because we know that at the end of the day we have somebody there with us. We have someone to hold our hands when we need it the most. And it's also about just bringing um, more positive attributes within ourselves, having a sense of humor, kindness, love, and just overall a more um, peaceful love, I guess you could say. There's stages to a lot of relationships. A lot of people are quick with them. They're very quick and fast paced. You have the obviously the introducing, the building the connections, the typical good morning, good night text routine. And then after that, it can go either uphill or it can go downhill. It really depends on how people treat a relationship and how they are able to develop with somebody else. And usually they can be fixed when it comes to relation when they are broken. Fortunately, some people fall off with their partner in good terms, and some of them fall off in bad terms. It's just really depends, and if you really had a really bad breakup and you felt like that person was your everything and they broke it, or it just didn't work out. A lot of people, especially in social media, a lot of people, when they have their special somebody and they leave them, a lot of people, especially men and women in the fitness world, they go back into their 5 a.m., 5 in the morning workout routine. They get up morning, they try to forget, they try to run and cry the pain away with by throwing weights up and down and running miles and miles to avoid the pain and avoid the tense emotions from building up. I know I that's what I used to do when I was in my was I when I was at my lowest. I would have my moments where I would just wake up and try to just distract myself and not really continue myself to believe in those things anymore, because at the end of the day, you can't hold on to those kinds of stress. You got to move on and push forward with your life. But my question is mainly, in this day of age, lots of young adults and teenagers have a misguided interpretation of what relationships should be handled and what people you should be dating in terms of attractionness and also wealth. If you don't have freaking a six-figure job or have a brand new BMW or the nicest car in the lot or just overall a good rock body and just perfect sculpture faces, people have a really misguided thing. So my question is, what is the future to look like in the relationships? Are people going to have a more realistic ways of approaching a relationship, or people are going to just be misguided and just kind of have a very um, not really well planned out relationship? And well, this is kind of a bad question, but overall my question is, how can people build connections and build relationships when there's so much false information thrown out there in the media? And yeah, but overall I think this one was really cool, and I can talk about this one really a lot longer, but I'll keep it short. So yeah, thank you.